Even when I used to call myself a manifestation and mindset coach, my work was always deeper. It was never about manifesting things. I've always made it clear. It was always about becoming the version of themselves who can have that particular desire or whatever they wanted to achieve. But more than that, it was how my clients always told me, or how I saw the shift in my clients in their self-worth, and how their obsession towards manifesting that specific thing kind of started vanishing, and they started feeling grounded in their self-worth, and they started knowing what they deserve. This has always been a common theme in all. Their self-worth started to shine. Their obsession with doing manifestation right and obsessing about manifesting that particular thing, it kind of started vanishing. It started fading. They began to love themselves more, and not because they manifested something, but just because kind of they finally started seeing their worth. And this was always a thing in all my manifestation coaching clients. And then when I started getting trained in trauma and I started holding inner child healing sessions and past life regression sessions, I noticed something. No trauma is too big to heal. And I'm saying this as a person who used to be so much in pain for so many years of my healing journey. In fact, maximum of my healing journey. But listen to me. No trauma is too heavy to heal. It just takes a lot of fierce willpower and your willingness to face the painful emotions. For people who are in the beginning of their trauma healing journey, this might come off as triggering and insensitive, but trust me, this is supposed to mean that when you are on this journey, like when I started my healing journey, I kind of understood manifestation, and I understood that patterns come from somewhere and they keep repeating unless you heal them, and they keep on manifesting. I understood it before I understood trauma healing journey, or before I understood trauma in particular, right? So because of that, and that I had this strong willpower, that I was 25 years old and I didn't know who I was. I was a good daughter, a good wife, and I had all these identities, but I didn't know who Garima actually was. So my healing journey kind of started with that motive, that I want to find myself, who actually I am. And that's why I'm saying that when you have this fierce willingness to face your trauma, and I've always been the person way before, like my whole life, even when I didn't understand trauma or healing, I've always been this person who, when she was stuck with heavy emotion, because I've been a highly sensitive person my whole life, when I was stuck with an overwhelming situation, when I was hurt, and I used to get hurt by like every next thing, every little thing, I used to cry for days until that heavy burden on my chest started vanishing. Not vanishing, but started lessening in a way. So in a way, I always was this person who used to sit with my emotions even when I didn't know that it's a thing. So it was kind of easy for me, yes, I accept. But more than that, it was a deep choice. No matter how painful the experience or the emotion or the past is, to face it, to rise above it, and that willpower that no, I want to change. That was the key reason that I was able to move through and heal that trauma. And by healing that trauma, I'm not saying that I'm 100% healed. That's not humanly possible. I'm saying that the pain has started lessening a lot than it used to be 2-3 years ago, right? So that's what I mean here. No trauma is too heavy to heal. It just takes a fierce willpower and a deep choice to rise and rise again. I know, because I've been there and I came out of it. But because of that, I always had this belief that you can come out of it. Even when I didn't know how, even when I didn't know when, even when sometimes I doubted it, I knew that I can come out of it, and I did. And through all my trauma healing sessions that I facilitated, I conducted, or even when I was a part of it in my own healing journey, this has been a common thing. So I learned that pain can be healed and lessened. And on the other side of the pain, when it starts lessening, when it's not hurting anymore, there is always a space where you can grow through. And that has been a very strong sentiment I always carried for some reason. And then I started coaching healers and fellow coaches, and then something within me shifted. Something within me started lighting up and started getting energized when I was taking these sessions, the sessions of healers and coaches guiding them through their whatever they were working on. And it was like the dots started connecting. Like, I used to be so lit up even after the sessions. I used to feel happy and satisfied even after the sessions, which was one common theme when I used to help people with manifestation. Somewhere I didn't used to feel fully satisfied. Somewhere I still used to feel that I have much more to offer, but I don't know how, right? I don't know how to communicate what I have to offer more than manifestation. And there are a lot of time I used to feel like I used to hold hands of my clients, right? Not just holding safe space, but holding their hands and kind of putting words into their mouth and trying to make them, push them to change themselves. That always kind of felt very unaligned to me. So when I started coaching healers and coaches, that thing wasn't there. They were very motivated to help themselves, and so our sessions were so much that I had so much to offer as a coach that I didn't even know I had it in me. Like, really, that was surprising for me as well. But that's when I realized that these are my people. These are who I want to help. It's like for the first time, coaching and mentoring someone felt so fulfilling. And that's when I realized that the cycle breakers who are ready to break from situations but break through from the situations and rise again. Healers who are healing themselves so they can help heal others. The coaches whose words move souls even from behind the screen. The highly sensitive women who are learning to let that empathy hold safe space for themselves and for other people with boundaries so it doesn't drain them. And honestly, I feel it's because I see a glimpse of me in all these, because I've been in all these shoes. I've walked this path already. And maybe that's why it felt so fulfilling to help people, to help coaches and healers. That's when it hit me that the path to your higher calling, to your next level alignment, towards your purpose, it's built on foundations of your trauma healing, of self-worth, of your nervous system healing, your boundaries. This is where your trauma responses stop being your shield and start becoming your superpowers. I was saying this to my friend the other day, that all our psychic gifts, as we call them, right, our intuition, our heightened empathy, are coming from trauma responses. It's just what used to be just a trauma response. When we healed through it, it eventually became our psychic gifts. So that's what I mean, that trauma responses stop protecting you, stop shielding you, and they start becoming your gifts that you can help others with. But this can only be done after your nervous system has been healed, after you're out of survival mode, after you have done that foundational healing work. This is where every layer of healing you have done, it kind of starts integrating, right? And every breakthrough leads to a birth of a new version of you. And slowly you start feeling that subtle shifts in yourself. Like, you can literally tell that this is not the person I was a month ago or 6 months ago. And when I watch this happening for my clients, for the healers and coaches I was guiding, because as I said, I have been in this journey, right? So when I watched this happen, I was like, yes, this is what my one-on-one space is meant for. But the thing is, I was kind of holding this space always, even as a manifestation and mindset coach, even when I was providing spaces for inner child healing and regression, past life regression. Because the point of healing was always to reclaim yourself, to birth this new version of yourself. Because you heal to reclaim, to become your most authentic self, your most sovereign self, and to unbecome and heal everything that was not you. That's what healing does. That's what I've always said. And this is what my one-on-one mentorship space holds for the cycle breakers, the healers, the heart-led coaches, the highly sensitive women who are ready to go deeper, who are ready to integrate their healing, and who are ready to rise into their next level, more aligned, more grounded, more embodied. Because your healing is your alignment. Because your healing is how you rise through it. And this is where you rise. This is for the women who are not afraid to go deep, because they know their power is in the depth, because they know that they will not drown, because as many times as life hit them into the rock bottom, they have always floated up. This is for you. And if this is you, reach out to me, DM me alignment. Let's explore what's your next level looks like. Bye-bye.